Let's take a look at how the Daily Mail's reporting differed in their stories about the convictions of the Walsall and the Rotherham child sex gangs. One of my favourite tools in critical discourse analysis is an extension of a metonymic analysis, where you take the naming terms used to describe the key actors in the stories and see what you find. Let's take a look at the naming terms used to describe the Walsall gang. As you can see, on 5 occasions, we are asked to think about their legal status, their defendants, their offenders. And 3 words that I find really interesting: evil, horrific, and the P word. We're really being asked to think about how bad they are as individuals. Now let's look at the naming terms used for the Rotherham gang. With the exception of the A word, none of these words really make me think of them on the individual level, and even the A word is used in the plural. But what's most striking for me is the fact that their ethnicity is mentioned on 5 occasions. If they just mentioned it once, you could maybe argue that it was subconscious, but the fact that the writers mentioned their ethnicity on 5 separate occasions, it's clearly something they want the reader to take from this article. And of course, the Walsall gang never got their ethnicity mentioned. A couple of months ago, I made a video about TikTok comments and how when videos show white people committing crimes, most of the comments treat them as individuals. But when non-white people commit crimes, many of the comments treat them as a group, specifically an ethnic group. And yeah, the Daily Mail articles here seem to follow that pattern. But what did the Daily Mail say about another important party in this? The victims. Here are the naming terms used for the victims in the Walsall case. I'm going to ask you to pause this here because I'm going to go straight on to the Rotherham case. And here are the naming terms used for the victims in the Rotherham case. A couple of striking points here. Firstly, the ages are referenced on 10 separate occasions in the Rotherham case with words like teenager and girls, but they are only referenced on 7 occasions in the Walsall case. And what's striking about that is the fact that the victims were actually younger in the Walsall case. Also, note the adjective vulnerable is used a couple of times in the Rotherham case. Now, if you describe a victim of crime as vulnerable, clearly you're trying to get some sympathy. You're trying to elicit sympathy from the reader, and I believe that's what's happening here. We don't get any sympathetic adjectives like that in the Walsall case, though. So next time you read a news story, take a look at the naming terms chosen and think about why the writer chose those specific naming terms at the expense of others, and ask yourself, what do you think the writer is trying to make you think?